Welcome back to the SCIF. This is the Green Beret Life. I'm Matt. That's Stu. Got a good show for you tonight. Obviously, there's been a lot of things going on, and the left in this country, or the deep state, however you want to look at it, is really trying to throw a monkey wrench in everything. So obviously we had some issues. The Supreme Court made a really strange ruling where now everybody deserves a hearing. So we have, upwards of 50 million people in this country that shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
We're going to have 50 million hearings. This is insane. There are ways around this. Anyways, we're going to be on YouTube here for a little bit. We give this spiel every week. YouTube sucks. We're going to move everything over to Rumble. If you haven't, we've got a link down below for Rumble. Please come and join us and subscribe to us on Rumble. We're just not allowed to talk freely here on YouTube, and it's a garbage platform that doesn't believe. It's a fantastic platform, but the people who run it are absolutely garbage. So we're going to go over to Rumble. That being said, what do we have on the plate tonight to talk about, Stu?
Got several different ones. Oh, I'm getting feedback again, Matt. I don't know what's going
on. You're jacking with something over there.
Something
like that.
We've got this MS-13 gang member that the Democrats can't seem to get enough of. He is the flavor of the month for them, and they're going down to El Salvador and trying to get meetings and, wanting to hold his hand and, rub his back and tell him, Uncle Sugar's going to make it all okay. And this guy's own wife is taking out restraining orders, and spousal abuse allegations and his MS-13 tattoos. And they're like, well, those are obviously MS-13. Well, no shit. Have you never heard of, being flying under the radar, and they were taking pictures and showing pictures of like these, they had the big, MS-13 and block letters on the back. See, it looks nothing like that.
On his knuckles, really? He has MS-13 on his hand. He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
Yeah, but it's in code, and they're like, well, it might just mean he likes marijuana and smiley faces and Jesus and skulls.
Yeah.
But it's funny. They're learning that this isn't the winning horse they thought they had, and they're starting to try and dump it and move on to the next one.
There are some theories about this, okay? Because more members of Congress have been rolling down there, right? When we get into the theories, we can't talk about it on YouTube because I'm going to mention a name, and as soon as I mention that name, YouTube's some meter's gonna get pegged somewhere, and we're gonna. So that didn't sound right, but
it didn't.
Yeah,
I don't know meter, but whoever he is, he's having a bad day.
Yeah, the meter's name is Peter, or a good day. It all depends on how you look at it, right? So, anyways, I'm offending everybody named Pete out there. I didn't say Pete.
That'll be all right.
Peter. And you got to say it this way, Peter. Right? Okay. Peter's ass is blue. But anyways.
But we've got that story. We've got, I'm sure by now everyone knows the Pope passed away early Monday morning. I'm going to talk about that real quick. That's someone in a position of authority that means a lot to a lot of people, and whether you agree with what he did and how he did it, he definitely holds a position that influences and affects a lot of people, and his passing means a lot to.
Yeah, I'm Catholic, of course, and I have been very disappointed by this Pope. You've heard me talk about it on the show here, and but he's passed away now. God rest his soul. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he did, but hopefully we'll get a really good Pope next. And they're actually talking about this guy from Africa who's supposed to be hardcore conservative, and it would be the first black pope. But it sounds like this guy would be the shit. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about that on the other side as well a little bit.
Yeah, so we've got that story. There was one I found here. It looks like Andrew Cuomo is being criminally referred to the DOJ over this COVID thing, and really they're saying it's over the COVID nursing home disaster. It's really over him lying to Congress and depositions and testimony.
But it should be over the nursing home disaster. They intentionally stuff people. Yeah, they stuff people in there for them to die, to be able to run up the numbers. I mean, these people should all be in frickin' jail. And the funny thing is, it didn't just happen in New York. It happened in many leftist shitholes.
Which one was it? Was it what was? I think it was the same wherever Gretchen Whitmer's from. Wasn't like Michigan.
Michigan,
her health secretary or something pulled her mother out of the nursing home.
That was Pennsylvania, and that was Levine. That was Levine.
Oh, Mr. Levine. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry, not Mark Levine. That was who I meant. That's what I was thinking. Mark Levine. I would never dead.
No, Mark Levin. You're thinking, Mark Levin is the kick-ass broadcaster.
No,
okay, but you're talking about Rachel. Wait, no, what is her? What the hell was he? It's a trans dude from Pennsylvania, but
one that Biden propped up as the
well, the one that played high school football with General Milley.
Yeah,
at their prep school they went to. Yeah, so
maybe they
they're all connected.
We don't talk about what happened in prep school.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
We've got a couple of stories on some of these Tesla vandals, and there's one that you'll love, Matt. It checks all the boxes. It is exactly what you would think it is. You'll like this one. I found it.
You know what's nobody's really talking about. I mean, some people are. A lot of these shootings, these Tesla vandals. There's something in common with a lot of them. They're all trans. It's like, and you know what's odd is we're not hearing shit about the Florida State University shooting. We're not hearing a damn thing about this. And why? You have to ask your question why. It's not meeting some sort of narrative, but we don't know why. Because on the surface, it looks like it does.
It's one of those, you know what it is by omission.
Yeah, I hate saying it because you don't know for sure, but when you're not hearing it, that sort of tells you, doesn't it?
Well, whenever you have stories about these youths took over an area, these youths did that, it's code words. That's all it is. So when you know what it is, you know who's doing it, but you can't say it because you might make somebody feel a certain kind of way about it.
Yeah. Well, they showed a picture of this kid, and boy, he looks. But then there's other people saying no, he's a conservative. He's hardcore conservative. I'm like, how do you know? If he was, why aren't we seeing it blasted everywhere?
That's my thing. If he were, they would be shouting it from the rooftop. I'm firmly convinced of that. If he were
where he's smiling, did you see the picture where he's
I did see one picture of him
in a MAGA hat or something.
In a MAGA hat, and that's when it's hardcore Trump.
Is it real? Is it real?
I don't know.
And then there's the other picture where he's smiling, and he's like, "Oh, okay." He looks busy. He looks like a busy dancer on the side. He's got a little gig on the side.
I saw the one picture of that, and that one, kind of, trying to spin that narrative, and that was it. I never saw it again. So I don't know if it was a fabricated picture, if it was, it turned out to be something different. It just kind of fell out of the news.
Yeah.
And then we've got the story everybody is already tired of hearing of, the Carmelo Anthony teenager who stabbed and killed.
everybody's tired of hearing about it, but the deep state, the media, the leftists in this country are trying to turn this into a George Floyd situation. And they haven't stopped. The misinformation out there going on about this. This kid straight up stabbed and murdered somebody who was unarmed. And now they're trying to say that he was a bully and they were doing that. No, this kid was over there instigating shit. And, this is, we're going to talk about this too in detail. The father he's not doing his son any service. The father's over there forgiving him, and the father of the guy who was killed, right? And trying to show up at the press conference and getting kicked out, and really trying to be as nice as he can to the family. It's like they're turning this into a race issue. And the more race grift they can get off it, the more money is being raised. And they've raised over $500,000
now.
Yeah, and they've supposedly are living in a mansion and driving around in a new Cadillac Escalade. The kid was let out of jail. They're trying to compare it. They're trying to compare it to Kyle Rittenhouse. And I saw this panel, and it was all black people on this panel. And this woman is going off, and I know other people knew that she was full of shit, and they didn't challenge her on it. But she was talking about that Kyle Rittenhouse up in Michigan, it was Wisconsin, shot 2 black guys. No, the white boy who shot 2 black guys, he didn't shoot any black people. Okay, he shot 2 white guys that were trying to kill him. One of them was like a pedo, right, who was just let out of jail. And then she was talking about Penny, on the train, who basically choked out, an innocent homeless man. What? This is what she was obviously told. They're listening to the media, and they're listening to somebody that's pushing this narrative. So they're getting all sorts of bullshit about Carmelo Anthony, that he was being bullied and picked on by these 2 brothers. Look, they've got the video of everything that went down. If this helped their side and they were able to stir shit up, racial shit, they would be showing those videos ad nauseum at this stage.
Well, Matt, just for the sake of argument, he was being bullied by these kids. You know what would have prevented it? Him going to his own tent where his own school was set up, the other side of the facility. Him removing himself, not grabbing his bag and say, touch me and see what happens. Yeah. That's not, this never would have happened, even if they were bullying him. Do
you have the right to stab somebody in the fucking chest? Do you have a right to do that because they're saying things to you that you don't like, right? I hate to say this, but kids need to go through a bullying process, right? When you're growing up, if you don't learn how to deal with people are going to try to bully you in different ways your whole freaking life. And if you don't learn how to deal with it at a young age, right, you're never going to learn how to deal with it. So when you take the bully away, right, and these kids weren't bullying this guy. This guy was over there stirring up shit. The narrative is because they think they can gain sympathy with it, is saying that he was being bullied. And I'm getting off on a tangent, so I'm not even going to go off on the whole bully tangent. I think some bullying growing up is a necessary part of growing up. Period. Amen.
Well, I think now, granted, there's definitely the point where it goes too far, but you need to have some adversity. You need to have the ability to, take a little bit of shit from somebody and dish it back out.
There should be a peer process too. That's just natural of human existence. There's a peer process. You start doing some weird shit. People start letting you know it's freaking weird. Guess what? It solves you from doing that weird shit. Doing you a favor moving forward. So you don't want to
like furries, Matt. You take away the bullies and bam, you got furries.
There you go.
What the hell?
Was furries a thing when you were a kid? No.
Hell no.
No. I remember there was a rumor about some kid who was wearing underoos when I was a little kid. Holy shit.
The Underoos rumor.
Or Garanimals, remember that? Boy, am I dating myself. This is like early 80s, late 70s shit, right?
God.
Yeah.
Well, all right. You ready to move over to Rumble and we can dig into a couple of these stories a little deeper?
Yeah, let's move over to Rumble. Let's pop smoke. Anybody who, if you've joined us here on YouTube, thank you. Please come and join us and take part in the conversation over at Rumble. Once again, we can't speak freely here on YouTube. We just can't. They keep striking anybody that goes off of the narrative. And you don't know what quite frankly, you don't know what the rules are because they change on such a regular basis.
Well,
and
honestly, Matt, even if you know what the rules are today, they'll change the rules tomorrow and then go back 6 months and give you a strike for a video.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So we will see you guys over at Rumble or Odysee. We've got to give Odysee a little bit of love.
Odysee, Odysee was acting up last week, and I couldn't even get the Odysee website to load today. So I don't know if they're having issues or if it's me showing my ignorance. But
let's assume that Stu fucked something up, and we will just go straight to Rumble.
That's safe. All right. There should be, as Matt said, there should be a link below if you want to join us over in Rumble, and we will see you there.